American Waves, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every Saturday. Make sure you there, make sure you there. Don't forget, 10 a.m. to 12, Foxx Waves. We coming live for you.
Aruba, it's your boy Freddie Foxx on Foxx Waves. Yes. And as you can see, I got guests coming in and out because, as I said, I went to the United Nations this week, and it was an amazing turnout, an amazing event overall. And I'm here with Dr. Fialkoff, who basically made sure that event took place. And he's here to, tell us about the event overall. Welcome, Dr. Fialkoff. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing really well.
Good,
Great
good.
pleasure to be here with you.
I'm happy that you're here.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
I wouldn't miss it. You and I are buddies from exercising, LA
Yes,
Fitness.
yes.
And, I think that's something on this show to put out with people. You know what? If you're feeling down, if you're feeling got no energy, this is a secret you and I know.
Yes.
That's when you got to go. You said, no, I can't go. I got to go to sleep. You don't go to sleep. You go to the gym.
Yes.
It's going to go about 45 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. And all of a sudden, what starts happening?
You feel good.
You start waking up.
Yeah, and that's
There
the
we go.
main thing, right?
And that's good. This is an extra you get for watching this show. You didn't think it was going to happen. You thought we were going to talk about the UN, but
Yes.
Oh,
So have you ever been to Aruba?
I have. I've been to Aruba, I think, 2 times.
Okay. What was
That's your home, right?
Of course. What's your experience like?
Well, I love the weather.
Okay. That's a check.
Yeah. It was very, vacation, so you're like very relaxed.
Yes.
We were on a cruise line.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the ocean, by the beach there. And also, I remember one time we were waiting for the airplane. We went to the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Tremendous, wait.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a funny experience. We were flying back, and the people were so impatient.
Mm-hmm.
So in the middle of the flight, the captain says, "If you don't sit down, I'm going to turn this airplane back, and you're not going to end up in New York." So you know what? Why? You say, well, why is Dr. Ben telling this story on the show that has no answer? Well, I'll tell you why. I am giving you answers that are a little cryptic, but I'll tell you why. Because it shows that sometimes we got to pay attention. Sometimes we have to see, like you and I know, that you have to see what you see, and sometimes you got to speak out. I think one of the things, and I wanted your opinion on this, even though you're interviewing me, I think we don't listen to each other and what we want. We don't see the obvious. Sometimes you can even feel it when somebody really is being nice to you, but they'd like you to let them move on. And it's frustrating when they can't get a chance where you don't let them. What do you think about that?
I think it's all about the energy.
Right?
It's all about people's personality and great energy. So you got to feed off of each other.
That's right.
You understand? Chemistry is the key. And it's the key to success, because I listen to you a lot. You put in certain things and you say certain things, and it really registers and it stays embedded in my head, and I appreciate that,
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
We get along well.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things, again, that I think I'm on your show, is I think we have a responsibility to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we can't see things, but the other one can.
Yeah.
So like you show me things at the gym and vice versa, and that's the best thing that can happen.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's talk about the United Nations.
Okay.
Yes, let's talk about tell the world why you started the foundation and why you love this platform so much and embody what you do.
Okay. Well, the foundation is the, Time for Truth Foundation. Why? Because I think all the viewers would agree there's been some things that are incongruous, illogical, and made no sense. And some of the, regulations or mandates that are coming out, it seems like all they do is make things more cumbersome, make it slower, and delay what we all really need, which are basics of life. And so to me, I looked at it with my wife, Maria, because we're both founders of this Time for Truth Foundation. In Spanish, because I'm a Spanish guy, I'm Cuban, my wife is Venezuelan. Right?
So Aruba's right there, right?
That's right.
I know you was going to tie that in.
La Fundación del Tiempo para la Verdad. There we go.
Uh-huh.
Right? But how would you say that with a Aruban accent?
See, don't put me on the spot here.
La
right now.
Fundación.
La Fundación.
Oh,
You said that.
Okay. And so what happens is, we need truth.
Yeah.
And now that I've gotten in a position later on in life where what I say carries a little more weight, I realize, okay, I have a responsibility. The world has given me a lot of things. The world has allowed me to experience a lot of things. And so, it's a choice you make. But we made a choice, my wife and I, that even though sometimes it's not easy, sometimes you got to do something good, it doesn't just mean that you get good back immediately. Sometimes, and I want to share this with the viewers, you do something good, but you don't get good back. And people get upset with you, and you go, but why are they getting upset? All I was doing was trying to bring water to the neighborhood. Well, there's interest in that water, and maybe there's other people who want to have a different water, or they're selling water, and they don't want you giving the water to the community. But to me, I always go back to this. The time for truth is something that's essential. Why is it essential? Because in all the religions, in all the philosophies, there's a saying, the truth will set you free, right? So what is the truth? Let's take a look at this, because we don't pay attention sometimes. Outside this building, there are trees growing. Nobody pays the trees. Nobody does the work for the trees. The trees don't have workers for the trees. There's no worker trees. The trees are the trees. And, the sun comes out every day. The sun didn't ask for a raise. It didn't complain it was sunning too much.
Well, they don't have that problem in Aruba. It's always sunny over there, right? That's why the trees slant.
Right. So basically, we've got to appreciate what we have.
Of course.
Right? The nature is an appreciation. And so if we get the truth, we have these wars going on. We have these conflicts. What is the truth of these conflicts? Not only are people getting killed, that could be your brother, your sister, your father, but besides the killing that's going on, we're polluting the air. We're contaminating the ground that we grow food on. That means in those countries, the food that those people are going to eat in the future now is contaminated with chemicals from the warfare. We sometimes take the earth for granted. One of my friends came from Honduras, Mario Pinel, who has a climate change group. He doesn't take it for granted. And Mario decided to start this group. Why? Because he realized that he had to protect the environment that we live in. And he spoke about that yesterday at the UN. We had another man who came, and he's a filmmaker, Shmuel Hoffman. And Shmuel spoke about how he makes films.
Yeah, he was very passionate about it.
Yes, documentaries to help people. So really there was another man there from the Bank of Humanity, Paul Manoska, who was here today, sharing with us. And Mr. Manoska wants to have an economic system that actually validates all world inhabitants, that doesn't penalize you, that doesn't just charge you interest, but that allows the world to move forward and help the people who are trying to do good activities, who have brilliant ideas, but they need help. So that's why.
Nice. And not only that, you're giving these youth that opportunity to get together and have something powerful, prevention of drugs. And as we see in the community, drugs are high everywhere that you go, in every country, right? And, kids need that opportunity to connect. And that connection is either football, basketball, track, dance, something, giving them that opportunity.
That's right.
What made you say, let me go to different places to try to connect these youth and give back?
Well, it happened here today. I know you were there watching me. And I took the players of the teams, both sides, brought them together, first of all, because I wanted to see and experience that even though they're opposing teams, they're going to be fighting against each other on the court. I wanted them to see before the game that in reality, they're playing a game. It's not a war. It's a game.
You gave them that connection in the beginning. That was the narrative, right?
That's right.
That connected them.
That's
and
right.
now as they play, even though they're competitive against each other, they still won.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. And what happened, it was interesting, if you saw it, they started to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And they started laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And they started realizing things that they know. And you asked me, why do I help youth? And I'll tell you why. You and I both saw that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys were athletes, but they didn't have anything negative. Sometimes we have the connotation that if somebody is strong, you have to be afraid of them.
Mm-hmm.
I found the opposite. I have found that someone is really strong, realizes they want to actually create and protect, that they don't have any joy in harming. And so I think it's important for those of you watching, and you and I were talking about this, is that people need to realize that we need to protect the future. And what is the future? Our youth. And we need to tell our youth the mistakes that we made,
Mm-hmm.
the benefits and, discoveries that we've made, and translate them to them so they don't have to go through those negative experiences, and they make a better world for the future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, I want to say one last thing here answering that question.
Mm-hmm.
We don't look at one thing that I think is important to look at as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
We have a certain travel time on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
And, that time that we have, when it ends, we don't take anything with us that was physical.
Mm-hmm.
We can have $50 billion. We can have all the houses and the planes and the airplanes and the money and the gold. But when we leave, we don't have that. We have ourselves as spiritual beings.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's another thing I'd like to take out of the Bible and things is there's a little bit of God in all of us. And I'm a Jewish guy. So each Passover, which is during Easter, we open the door symbolically to let someone who's called Eliyahu, who's like an angel of God, Eliyahu he's called, we let Eliyahu come in. One day I was talking to my friend of mine who was a rabbi, and I said, look, I'm not a rabbi, but I want to give you my opinion as a surgeon of 44 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Eliyahu is a spiritual being. He goes, what do you mean, Doc? He goes, I think Eliyahu is a concept, which is spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, exactly. Why'd you think something else? I said, I don't know, but let me tell you more. So I think when we open the door, really the symbolism of that is when all people open their doors,
Mm-hmm.
and we allow the concept of humanity to exude from that door,
Mm-hmm.
Eliyahu will have come to the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And all will see Eliyahu because we've created that concept on the earth. And then God being a spiritual entity, at that point, truth will be revealed.
Mm-hmm.
Because we'll feel it spiritually. We'll see it in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And, I got to tell you, in this school, I have felt that since I've walked in the door, through your principal, through you, through the guys out there on the court. And there's a feeling, there's an energy. There's an energy that exists. And to me, that's God. That energy that we put out, and some people say, oh, my God, that's blasphemy. No blasphemy.
Mm-hmm.
I think God would be very happy that any of his disciples,
Mm-hmm.
any of his angels, any of whatever you would want to call them, were doing that in duplication, in assimilation of God's purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I were to make it a human thing, and I would say I was God, and I could do anything I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
why would I want to destroy what I created?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I think what's man-made is probably the negative actions,
Mm-hmm.
the destructive actions, and I think the things that really come to all religions, to all people who have any belief in life, looking at the trees and the miracle that comes out of the ground
Mm-hmm.
for no apparent reason. Nobody even researched that, how it's possible. I mean, it's unbelievable to me because I'm a doctor and a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
How does that grass? People say, it comes out of the ground. I said, I understand that,
Yeah.
but there was nothing there before. If you put those chemicals together, that's not going to come out of the ground. And I'm going to have an answer for you. Ready?
Yeah.
That's because it's life.
Mm.
And life makes those physical components come out. And that's a miracle of
Mhm.
such expanse that I guess if we don't really want to look at it,
Mm.
we kind of ridicule it we say, what's this guy talking about? What's the purpose of that? Let me go back to see what my stocks are doing on the stock exchange. But that, to me, is why we do what we do.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate you having this conference for many individuals to come to it and, you know, enjoy.
You and I have been talking about this for a while.
Yeah, we have.
And also Principal
yeah,
Hesley.
Yeah, and I'm glad that, you know, it came to life. And this is what this is about. This is only the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this is only the beginning.
This was huge. Did you see what happened in there?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Woo.
And it's amazing. And the main thing is that the youth could see something different.
Yes.
And that's the most important because they're our future, you know. Dr. Fialkoff, thank you. Thank you for being here. And much love. And you got to come back to Aruba. You got to, next time.
You and I, and also the Principal, Hesley, also.
Well, he was there already, you know.
Okay,
he enjoyed himself plenty of times.
We're going back. We're going to have a game there.
Yes.
We're going to have Time for Truth there.
Uh-huh.
Francisco's going to come with his
Yes.
Dominican people. And then we're going to do with the Prime Minister of Aruba.
Yes.
We're going to show the world what Aruba's made out
Of
of.
course, of course. Listen, Doctor, thank you once again. All
Yeah, well,
right?
I want to do one last thing at the end of your show.
Go ahead.
You ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Contigo aprendí. Hold on, I'm going to bring somebody on for you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Miss South Africa.
This is spontaneous. Miss South Africa, come over here.
You wanna-
Here we go. Here we go. We're going to just do the spontaneous.
Okay, go ahead.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Contigo aprendí que los días son mejor. Contigo a mi lado. Contigo aprendí que el sol siempre sale en la mañana.
We are the world. We are the children.
We are the ones.
To make a brighter day.
So let's start giving.
Let's go. Get this man a contract. You know what I mean?
So anyway, it's been a pleasure being on your show.
Yes, this is your boy Freddie Foxx and Foxx Waves. Let's go. Aruba, you had a treat. Let's go. See you out, Reg.